Hey, sports fans, Larry Eater, RunBlogRun. And this is your favorite program, Athletics Chat. It's number 86. The good-looking gentleman in the middle who looks like a cricket broadcaster, that is Stuart Weir. He is in Oxford, England, the intellectual capital of the world. The guy with the white beard who, could pass for, U.S. Grant or maybe Grover Cleveland. I'm Larry Eater. And in the very back, if you look against my hall, there is a T-shirt on the wall. It's for DeSmet Spartans. That was the T-shirt I wore in PE when I started running 50 years ago this year at DeSmet, which is located in Creve Coeur, outside of St. Louis, Missouri. And there are still a couple of the they're back at DeSmet, a couple of the Jesuits that influenced me. But my freshman coach was a guy named Father Ralph Passarelli, who was this Italian Jesuit, about 5'4", very soft-spoken, but he got all of our respect when he took us on in a game of street basketball and beat everybody on the team, including 3 guys who ended up going to state in basketball. So he had our total respect. And then there was a guy named Rich Grauer. He was my history teacher. He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame in the state of Missouri. He took DeSmet to, I think, 4 state championships and then coached at St. Louis University. But I found that shirt and I thought I'd put it out there. I've got a few classmates from DeSmet. I only went there for 2 years, but they keep in touch. So just thought I'd add a little bit of history to the and boy, do they make clothes good, because Stuart, look, that shirt has no bad stuff in it, But great to see you, Stuart.
Yeah.
So what's the weather like in lovely Oxford?
Well, I played my walking soccer this morning, and it was a bit cold, but it didn't rain, a little bit windy.
Okay.
So it's just what you'd expect in February in England.
Yeah, we're about -5 Celsius here, and that's been our warmest day in about 2 weeks. We're going to get to about 10 Celsius tomorrow, and then we get snow the next day. So it's Wisconsin.
We would be +5. So it's
+5? Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so that's all right.
All right. So first of all, we had a busy weekend, my friend. Let's see. Where do we begin? At Boston University, which is a fine institution of higher learning, they have the Valentine Day. It's a 2-day meet. I think they call it the Valentine Classic, or is it just the Valentine Day Invitational? But it has been the place for the last several years where the big 5,000s are run indoors. Now, the 5,000, is 12 and a half laps outdoors. Well, it's 25 indoors on a 200-meter track. And Boston seems to have some pretty incredible races. On Friday, it was the Bowerman Track Club was there. And let me make sure I do this thing right, which happens occasionally. Gabriel DeBooze Stafford set a North American record of 14:31. She was followed by Elise Cranny in 14:33. And then Olympic silver medalist Courtney Frerick in the steeple ran a 14:48, but it was just a flying women's 5,000, and we'll have a photo gallery up thanks to Joe Hale this week. And then on Saturday, Grant Fisher, who represented the U.S. in the 5 and 10 at the Olympics, ran 12:53.97 for a new American record. Second place was his teammate Mo Ahmed, who set a new Canadian record at 12:56.97. And in third place, running his first 5,000 in 2 years, Mark Scott, who had represented Great Britain in the 10. And he ran at 12:57, I think it's 06. He's the first European under 13 minutes indoors. Both races you can find on YouTube, but wow, fascinating. I just thought it was the Bowerman Track Club is coached by Jerry Schumacher and Pascal Daubert. Jerry was the coach at the University of Wisconsin Pascal was one of his steeplechasers, a U.S. champion, and they both coached the men and women at Bowerman. And the thing about the Bowerman Track Club is Jerry and Pascal have got those athletes to believe in the culture of the club, which is staying focused on all the details, training hard, doing the recovery, racing when you're ready. And they have a tremendous group of athletes. And the pictures of the guys' race, too, again, thanks to Joe Hale, we'll have those up this week, are pretty exciting. But it's great to see Mark Scott from Great Britain running so well. Very talented young man. He beat Mo last summer, and most people didn't even know he existed before he beat Mo in the British 10,000 meter champs. But obviously, a talented young man. And but those were just two of the fun things going on this weekend. There was some nice vaulting. Sandy Morris went 471 at the American Track League. We've got to wait a couple of weeks for our friend Ryan Krauser. He's going to be competing at the U.S. Champs, which I hope to be going to. We'll have to see, depending on the lovely pandemic. But and then we had what do we've had so far? We've had Karlsruhe, we've had Millrose, we've had New Balance Indoor, we had the Istaf meet. And in Dortmund we had our we've had some good performances there too. But now we've got a preview of Birmingham, Stuart. So tell us a little bit about Birmingham.
Yeah, well, we got Yeovil before Birmingham. I'm sadly not going to that this year because I just thought that it wasn't, at the time I had to make a decision, it wasn't easy to go to France, and also there's the possibility of them not getting to Birmingham. Well, sadly, the big news from Birmingham is that Laura Muir has pulled out. She said, "I'm sad to announce I'm not going to be able to compete at the weekend. After further investigation on Friday into an injury I sustained a few weeks ago, I have to take some time off running to recover. Unfortunately, it means that my indoor season will not happen. I'm gutted to miss it," and so on. My training had been going well. I was really excited to race in front of a home crowd. You'll have to wait until the summer to see me. And of course, Laura was also due to run in Glasgow at the DNA, and had to pull out of that. So it's a shame, particularly as Laura was running 1,000 meters, which has been set up for her to attack the British record. So, yeah, but I mean, I am looking forward to the Birmingham meet, not just because it's exciting to be going to meets again. But I think the Birmingham meet is what an indoor meet should be. I mean, let me give you an example. In the men's 60, we've got Noah Lyles and Ronnie Baker and Michael Rogers. But we've got 7 British runners as well. So 2 prelims and a final. And I mean, just the opportunity to give a lot of the up-and-coming British runners. One of them will be kneeling down next to Lyles and one next to Ronnie Baker, possibly 2. So that, you know, for them to have the chance just to run against people who are performing well in Olympic finals and so on is great. And I mean, we'll get some outstanding athletes in Birmingham. For the women's high jump, we've got Maria Lasenskina. And again, Emily Borthwick, who's done a PR, the British girl, is there as well. Then we've got a couple of para events. Men's pole vault, we've got Mondo, Harry Koppel from Britain there, Cole Walsh, Thiago Braz. So again, pretty good stuff there. I mean, Mondo, I presume, will be doing 6 meters since he usually does. And the women's 800s are fascinating race. You've got Keely Hodgkinson, the local girl, Adele Tracy, Natoya Gould as well. So that's that's I think quite a lot going for it. Elliot Giles in the 800 goes against Lewandowski, and the only thing that I can say, the only positive about the retirement, which we may talk about later, of Adam Kistop, is the difficulty of pronouncing his name. But he's in that race, as is Eric Sawinski. So again, quite a good field, and it'll be interesting to see what Elliot Giles can do. He's already won I think in Poland, and done well in Germany, so expect something from him. Women's 60 has got a lady called Elaine Thompson Hera. I'm sure I've heard that name before.
I think a bit, yes. Yeah, I've heard that she can run a pretty mean 100 meters.
And we've got Daryl Nita going with her.
Yep.
Daryl, who's had never run sub 11 until last summer, and she did it 4 times. And by the way, when I say she's done it 4 times, this means that RunBlogRun is siding with her against World Athletics by treating her 10.9993 as sub 11.
I agree.
World Athletics, the spoil sports at World Athletics rounded up.
Oh my gosh. John wouldn't do that. We love John Mulkeen. He would never do that.
We are saying it's 10.999 rather than 11. And Amy Hunt, who was a very promising young British sprinter who got injured last year, is in that race, and it'll be great to see what she can do there. Then we've effectively got the British long jump championship with Abigail Uruzuru, Jasmine Sawyers, and Lorraine Udson all going, with Mariana Beck-Romanchuk, Kedi Sanya, that's how she pronounces her name, from Sweden. So good stuff there again. The women's 1500 is the Gemma Reiki and Lyndon Hall.
Wow. Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be very interesting.
Yeah, well, and how about this for a lineup for the 60 meters hurdles? Holloway, Posey, Ortega, Eaton, and Levy. So I mean that's almost world indoor standard.
I think that's world record for Grant Holloway. But I may be a little too overly enthusiastic, Stuart.
Yeah. And Shawnee Miller-Weagle is coming over to do a 400.
Yeah, she was supposed to be in the New Balance event, and we didn't see her there, so I don't know what happened there. So, what event is she running? 400?
The 400, and
that'll be
also in that
awesome.
Also in that field is a lady we like, Jessie Knight.
Oh, nice. Is this Jessie's first race of the season?
I think she may have run one overseas. I'm not absolutely certain.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I really want her to have a good season, because she had the nightmare in Tokyo of literally falling before she reached the first hurdle. Then we've got a 1500 for men, which includes Charlie Grice, Neil Gourley, and Jake Whiteman.
Wow, that's kind of a prelim to your British champs.
And assuming that the listing is correct, Eric Sawinski is certainly being worked hard, and he's doing the 8 and the 15.
Wow. Yeah, he just did a nice 8 over here, a couple 8s over here, 1 week in a row. So it's. So with Adam Kajat, is he done racing, or is he going to compete this season?
Well, he's actually in that race. So he's in the 800. So as Mark Twain, I think it was, said, that reports of his death are somewhat premature.
Yeah, I'd really like to get an interview with him. I've got to find a way. Are they doing remote interviews from Birmingham at all this time or not?
I don't know because I'm going, so I haven't really followed up on that. The press chief is Jason Henderson.
Oh, I'll send Jason a note then. Thank you. Do you think there'll be a good crowd at Birmingham? Or are they doing limits?
Well, no, I think there will be, but they're still selling tickets, so it shows that it's obviously not a sellout. I don't know, because I mean, Jason said that they're going to have a socially distanced mix zone, so I don't know quite how. But at the moment, normally for sports events which are outdoor, we don't have any restrictions. And at the moment, we generally speaking moved to masks are advisable but not compulsory.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of stuff. In the U.S. right now, they are shutting down mask restrictions pretty quick in many of the states. And it's going to get, they're going to end up coming back, but I just, I keep a mask in my pocket. So that's all we can do. So we also had, Birmingham is one of my favorite meets. I mean, you and I have seen each other there for years and years, and I'm going to miss that the late Mel Watman won't be there. Normally, I would go and see Mel and Stan Greenberg sitting next to each other, and Stan telling me how he didn't like the entertainment part of the meet, and Mel just kind of cracking up and enjoying the event. But it's a great facility. Is it the NAI it's called?
Well, it used to be. Then it became the Barclaycard Arena, and now it's the I can't even remember the name. It changes so quickly. The Ulita or something like that. It's just the old thing where you get sponsors who sponsor the arena and want their name plastered all over it.
Stuart, I want to know when someone's going to call a stadium the Electric Larryland, stadium. And, don't you think that'd be a good name? Or the Larry and Stuart, the Stuart and Larry Stadium. What do you think about that?
I think that's great, but I think you have to pay for it.
Oh, darn. Well, I don't think I have enough on my Credit Karma card right now that I could do it. Okay. Lesson learned. But so one of our dear friends, Tiffany Porter, has decided that she's retiring.
Yes, I had a good conversation with her last week, which I'll write up later. I mean, she's had a great career. She said that after she had her daughter, she genuinely didn't know whether she was going to come back. She came back. She got a medal in the European indoors last year. She got to the Olympics, got the Olympic semi-final, didn't quite make the final. And she said, I just came home and said, do I want to do this, or do I want to pursue some of the other things I'm interested in? Because one of the things about Tiffany is she is a professional pharmacist. So she's worked as a pharmacist really through a lot of her career. And so that's a real passion. They're quite a clever family because Dr. Tiffany Porter is married to Dr. Jeff Porter. They're doctor. But I mean, Tiff had a great career. She won a medal in the World Indoors in 2012, repeated in 2014, 2016, a World Outdoor in 2013. European champion, European bronze, medals at 2 European indoors Commonwealth Games. And as well as winning that medal in the Moscow World Championships, she was 4th in Daegu. And she was leading at Beijing until she stumbled at the last hurdle. She didn't hit the hurdle, but she came off it badly and went from 1st to 5th between the hurdle and the tape, which was a great shame.
Yeah.
And she was announcing at the Melrose, doing interviews for the crowd, and she's doing that somewhere else coming up. And again, I mean, she said she had no idea. She had no idea that she would finish up doing that. And that she asked me to keep mentioning that she did a new blog, which is if only I could remember what it's called. I mean, it's just her name. It's either Tiffany Ophelia or Tiffany Porter, but it means to find her on social media. There's a link to her blog, and there's a couple of good blog posts about retirement and about announcing.
Cool. All right, we'll give her some love out there.
Yeah. So I mean, I've always liked her as a person, and of course, I mean, we were teasing her in Tokyo when no one else could have any family there, and she had her husband and her sister.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, they've always been way ahead of the game in terms of being nice to media. I don't think I've ever seen either one of them turn down an interview. They are a sponsor's dream. Adidas has gotten more than their money's worth from them, and more brand exposure and positive brand exposure too. So big deal, you know. And I think that it's very, very important because, you know, you see people like Grant Holloway, who is so natural, so on game all the time. And then you see there's other athletes who just don't understand that talking to the media are not all bad people, you know. And if you're going to grow the sport, you need to talk to people who have more than 2 followers on Twitter, you know. And it's
I totally agree with that. I was just going to say, I won't name names, but the Diamond League final in Zurich last year, there was an athlete who had just won a sizable check from the organizers and who walked through the mix zone without speaking to one person. One of the staff spotted this and said to me, "I'll get the athlete to come back to talk to you." And the staff member came back and said the athlete will not come. And I mean, I think if you're making a lot of money, they ought to do what the tennis people do, for example, that you're obliged to do media, and if you don't get your prize, or you don't get all your prize money.
Well, I remember back in the 80s when the sponsorship was just starting, a prominent marathoner, a guy I very much liked, actually someone I trained with, the habit at the time was to wear as little, you know, on your shoes and clothing as possible to keep it light. And so people would cut down around their number. And this gentleman cut down around his sponsor's number, and they went completely crazy. And that stopped pretty quick. But yeah, no, you know, you look at people like Grant, but I will tell you, one of the reasons why I'm going to try to talk to Adam Kajat this weekend was because in 2018 at the World Indoors, my son and I were interviewing Adam, and he gave us one of the finest interviews I've ever heard about he got into the zone, and he was talking about how each step of his career had built for him to be where he was, and how he loved competition, and how he got into this place in competition. He didn't know how he did it, but he was there, and he really enjoyed the whole process. The unfortunate thing was our camera and recording device shorted, and we lost that interview and a couple others, and it just broke my heart because Adam was in this like Zen place, you know, where people get sometimes. It's like watching when Jonathan Edwards set the world record in Gothenburg, he made it look effortless, but we all know it wasn't, right? Because he kept, those two jumps for that whole series was crazy. There's times, I believe, where these athletes get to a place in their careers where there's things they want to say, and they're really some of them are really articulate about it. And Adam, who had always done interviews, and his English had gotten better over the decade or so that I, got to hang out with him. It was like Marcin Lewandowski. Marcin's the same way. They both realized that, hey, you know what? We got sponsors. Our English better get better, and we're going to talk to the press. And those two guys were always great, and Marcin still is. But I think that that there's those perfect interviews, and had a couple of them at medal ceremonies. I was going back and looking at the numbers on the 2019 medal ceremonies from Doha, because Adam had recorded each one of them. And one of the ones that was the most was fun was Mondo, Sam Kendricks, and Piotr Lysik. That was the most fun. But there was one with the women's hammer, and the Chinese woman had a really good translator, and she told the media about how she got into the hammer. It was fascinating, and people actually listened, and there's those priceless moments you and I have had interviewing people, and sometimes they come, in a mix zone, sometimes they come in a medal zone, sometimes they come after they've had a tea, after they've cooled down. You just never know. But how do you think Keely Hodgkinson has done with the accolades and the pressure of being a sports superstar in sports crazy UK?
Well, of course, track and field is not big in the country in terms of mass media. So she was very big around the Olympics, but I think that she could probably walk down the street and nobody would have a clue who she is. I think that she is coached by Trevor Painter and Jenny Meadows is a massive advantage, because Trevor is a great coach, and of course Jenny has been there and done it all. And I think that they keep her grounded. I asked her about her studies, and she told me that she hadn't really been to university a great deal. That last year her track and field had taken it over. You have to remember that she's a teenage girl, and so when she got invited to go to the Bond movie premiere, she was delighted to go. I was just remembering a comment that Dean Asher-Smith's coach had made about her, John Blackie, saying, when she goes to events, it's just, I'm wearing what she's got in her feet. What are those heels doing? I don't want her straining her ankle and not being able to train tomorrow. So I don't think that Keely's outfit for the Bond movie would have pleased John Blackie. But she's a year ago she was a promising runner, and 6 to 9 months later she was being invited to a movie premiere. So she's just human. She's just a teenage girl who can run fast. So I'm sure she's processing an awful lot of things.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. So we've got Birmingham coming up this weekend. We've got Leave-In this week. Leave-In is always a fantastic meet, and Birmingham will be awesome as well. When are your British champs?
Following weekend.
Okay. Now, will you be at the British champs?
I will.
Okay.
The word in the street is that there'll be a lot of athletes who will not.
Okay.
I don't have specific names, but the word in the street is that a lot of top athletes are opting out of the indoor world this year because they think that rather than competing and peaking in March, they should be training for the busy summer. So that is the expectation that I'm hearing about, that there will be quite a number who will not be running indoors at all. I mean, for example, Daryl Nita is running for the second time, but she's told me that she's not targeting the world indoors. It's just a matter of getting a few races to see where she is and then back to training.
Did you tell me that Des Henry has been running? Have you seen some results from Des?
Des was supposed to be running in Glasgow, but she got into one of these silly situations where her sponsor was not the meet sponsor, and they didn't want her to run, and she didn't run. Interesting, she's not down to run in Birmingham. I mean, she's had injury problems, but from being one of our top four in the relay, she's probably currently about seventh. And because it's a while since she's got a really good time, and so I think that this is a big season for her.
Okay. For the world champs, will UK select athletes for the marathon, or will they have a marathon trials? What are you hearing?
I don't know. I mean, I think that they have. My understanding is that if you performed really well last year, that will very much be taken into consideration. I don't know the answer, so I won't speculate any further. I don't know. But of course, you see, it's complicated this year because if you are in that category, do you go to the Worlds feeling pretty sure that you won't win it? Or would you rather go to the Commonwealth or the European, thinking, that's the lower standard, there's a medal there for me?
What's up with Mo? Have you heard anything with Mr. Farah?
I've heard nothing, no.
I
don't know. I mean, having switched to the roads and really not having the success that he had expected to have, and then having decided that he would give the world 10,000, the Olympic 10,000 to go, and not making that, I think it's a position that Mo has not been in the previous 10 years. And I imagine he's processing it and thinking, have I actually done all I'm going to do? I just don't know.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. Let me just think right now. I had a couple other questions for you. Yeah, Mondo, you made a comment a little while back. Our friend Mondo Duplantis has had, I believe, 4 meets this season, and he's had 4 times over 6 meters, his highest being 6:04. And then was it Chris Nielsen went 6:02? So with the new American record, and Casey Lightfoot's going 5:95, and then you've got Katie Najia and our friend Sandy Morris both jumping pretty well. So we'll have to see how.
Katie is in liaison.
Okay, good. That'll be awesome to see. She's pretty tremendous. So
yeah, I mean, Mondo in Birmingham has got Harry Koppel, Ben Broders, Thiago Braz, Rudiger Koppelar, Cole Walsh, Nick Richards, and Charlie Myers. So he doesn't instantly have somebody there that you think is going to be pushing 6 meters with him. But we'll see. He tends to just do his own thing anyway.
Yeah, no, it'll be very interesting to see what he does. But
yeah.
Well, Stuart, my friend, you have survived 40 whole minutes, and we will, I can't wait I'll be posting your stories once I get off the Zoom.
Okay.
Thank you for those. I enjoyed the Montel Douglas pieces, and we had some very nice numbers. I put them both up last night. Great pictures.
Well, and Montel, in fact, retweeted us. So that was a help.
Well, I remember meeting her in 2012, and at the closing ceremony, BBC World had me do we had like 6 athletes, myself and another radio announcer, just kind of talking through the closing ceremony. It was a lot of fun. She was a blast. And so, you have some pretty neat athletes over in across the pond. So got to say that. But Stuart, thank you again, my friend. This was Athletics Chat 86. And thank you to Mike Deering for putting up with both Stuart and I, mostly putting up with me. And Stuart, stay safe. I'm glad you got to play soccer today, or your football, as you call it. And there was a little thing called the Super Bowl yesterday over here. I'll have to watch it on YouTube tonight. I think I'm one of the 3 Americans who didn't watch it yesterday, but it's about the LA Rams, so it's their story. Anyway, stay safe. If you're going to be indoors, consider wearing a mask. And Stuart, thank you very much. Signing out.
Thank you.
Well, hello, sports fans. Larry Eater here. This is Athletics Chat 86. The epilogue, or as Mike Deering so lovingly calls it, a conversation by Larry with Larry, Anyhow, Stuart and I solved many of the world's problems today. We talked about the amazing 5,000 meter races at Boston University's famed track and tennis center over the Valentine's Day weekend. Gabrielle DeBoo's Stafford, a new North American record of 14:31, and Lise Cranny, 14:33 American record, and Courtney Frerichs, the Olympic silver medalist in the steeple and the American record holder in the steeple, ran a blistering 14:48. The next night, it was Grant Fisher's turn. Grant is the youngest guy on the Bowerman Track Club, and he ran a 12:53.97 American record 5,000. Mo Ahmed, the Canadian speedster from University of Wisconsin, go Badgers. I live 40 minutes from there. Mo set a Canadian record of 12:56.93. And then Mark Scott, in his first 5,000 in a couple of years, set a new British record and European record of 12:57.06, becoming the first European under 13 minutes indoors. Pretty cool, huh? 25 laps on a 200-meter track. Pretty bitchin'. And they did awesome. But there's some great performances at the Boston meet. We'll be featuring some photo galleries from there, thanks to Joe Hale. What else happened this week? Well, Tiffany Porter retired. Tiffany's one of our favorite athletes, competes for Great Britain, went to the University of Michigan. She and her sister have competed for the UK over the 60-meter hurdles, medal last year at the European indoor champs, and have competed outdoors over the 100-meter hurdles. And so there, Tiffany has got many things going on, including she's doing TV announcing. And we will be missing her because I think she just did a tremendous job allowing herself to be interviewed and really expressing herself to the media and the sport. Also, our friend Justin Gatlin, who we didn't even talk about. Justin just turned 40 and announced on Instagram that he was retiring. The little video he did was pretty classy. I've known Justin for a long, long time. Watched him in 2004 with my son Adam in the stands win his Olympic gold, and learned about his ban in 2006, right before the, I think it was the London meet that year, and then watch him come back 8 years later, and do very, very well. I think that Justin needs to be looked at through his entire career. It's really easy to call people cheats. Justin, got caught and paid his time. And in this country, when you pay your dues, we've got to give you a break. And I think that's how I'm going to leave it with Justin. He's a fine sprinter, and I will miss him. I enjoyed chatting with him, and I enjoyed our interviews. Adam Kazat, the guy's won medals in every championship on the global level. He's a Polish superstar, and he is retiring. The guy has eyes in the back of his head. He's the Fermin Cacho of the 800 meters, just so tactical. And I truly enjoyed my interviews with Adam and his compatriot, Marcin Lewandowski. Watched them go 1-2 on many occasions. Adam gave one of the most amazing interviews of all times, and due to a product malfunction, I was not able to replay it, but he talked about how over your career and over your life, you build into these moments. And he had many incredible moments, from European championships to world championships to Olympic games. And one of the finest runners in the world, one of the finest tacticians in the world, and just a great sense of humor and a great attitude. And he will be missed as well. This week, we've got the Leven meet. We also have the Mueller-Birmingham meet as well. Stuart will be at Mueller-Birmingham, and we'll be covering the Leven. And there will obviously be some other meets all over the U.S., and we'll be covering those for you too. But this is Larry Eater with Athletics Chat 86. This is the epilogue. Thank you to Mike Deering, our production manager. Thank you to Stuart Weir putting up with me. And thank you to you, our viewers, for enjoying these moments of whimsy. And just say hello to all my friends at DeSmet Jesuit and Bellarmine College Prep in San Jose and at Santa Clara University. Those were the three institutions that I went to and competed at. And, they all contributed to the goofy stuff I do today. So thank you. Stay safe.